Let's see if I can angle this.
Is
Look,
that part
y'all.
of the bit? Oh, it's not part of the bit.
Nope, I can't show. I fed myself better than they did for CM Punk and Jay.
He's bungling it. He's bungling.
You bungled the bit.
Bungle.
I sold that bit though. Bro, they were so sick. 2 macaroons, bro. They got you fucked up.
That was it.
I know,
2
right?
macarons. 2
Like-
macarons. They asked for these. They asked
like, I'm not
for
doing
these.
this.
CM Punk was even so specific. He was like, "Someone bring me muffins."
Bro, that see,
Muffins.
at this point, I need a CM Punk muffin shirt. That is the
Yeah,
only
bro.
CM Punk
Yeah.
merchandise I will probably buy now that this all happened, is a
mean,
CM Punk muffin shirt. Because when there's muffins at a press conference, shit's going down. Shit's going down. Man.
Anyway, wrestling.
WarGames. Oh,
It's Monday.
it's Monday.
It is
So,
Monday.
let's-
Usually
let's-
on Sundays we talk wrestling, but
So
once
it's-
again,
today is Monday, December 2nd. Welcome to episode 27 of VWP. Emil.
Tyler.
Yusuf.
Oh, nice. The whole crew.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
The whole crew is here 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
man. Listen,
Doesn't
we're
happen often.
yes,
We're consistent.
We've been very
We're
good with
consistent.
attendance recently.
Minus here and there.
We've been
Minus
very good
the
with
whole
attendance.
month of October.
Yeah,
Okay,
we don't talk about the
valid.
whole month of October.
October didn't exist.
No.
So, a couple days ago, this wonderful tradition around Thanksgiving happened called Survivor Series with no Survivor Series match.
I had a fucking gig.
I feel like this is the last time we're doing WarGames for a while.
I wouldn't be surprised.
We gotta. I think we've found the limit.
I think we're gonna get to a point where, well, I think this is the point. We're gonna still have WarGames, but I think they're gonna bring it back to NXT for a while, and then
Or they're gonna-
after like 4 or 5 years, they're gonna bring it back
Okay.
to the main roster. And I feel like it's gonna alternate throughout the next decade.
That's interesting. That's the first time anyone's given that take that I've
I've never
seen.
heard that take.
Yeah, I mean, like that's fine. I like unique.
Well, cause think about it, right? Like NXT had
Yeah.
the WarGames stuff going on for like what, 3 years, 4 years? I can't exactly remember how often, but they had all that, and then main
think it was
rosters had the
3,
WarGames. I think it
4?
was 3, right? Yeah.
Oh wait, it was 4. There was 3. There was like definitely 3 Undisputed Era ones,
I was
and then
gonna
there
say,
was
it's
the
like Undisputed
2.0
Era.
and Black and Gold one.
Yeah, so there was all that, right? So they had all their WarGames matches, and now main roster's getting all the WarGames matches. So it makes sense that it probably alternates between NXT and the main roster for a little while. Plus, now NXT has the roster to justify having a WarGames match. I think that's probably what they do, but we'll see. So
Pat Mack
I could
was in
see.
one.
Pat
Yeah,
McAfee
Pat
was in
Pat
one.
Mack was. I didn't realize, during the pandemic, like once Pat was the main roster commentator, I kind of didn't put 2 and 2 together that he was also the NXT guy that feuded with Adam Cole and Undisputed Era.
People forgot about Pat McAfee, the wrestler, very quickly.
Yo, it's for real. I will say, here's I didn't expect to have to get into this so soon, but I'm totally cool to have this discussion now. For one, I love WarGames. I think WarGames is one of my favorite matches of all time. I think it's just so different, like match types. I just think it's so different from everything else. 2 rings for no reason. 1 big cage around it. I'm totally cool with them taking the roof off of it like they have in WWE. That's fine. The most intriguing matches seem to come out of it for me. Like I loved all the Undisputed Era matches. They all had their own twists, turns, shocks, weapon spots. All of it was so unique to WWE at the time, especially when it first came. But I don't know if it's getting rid of it entirely. I think it might be, occasionally doing it to where they have 1 WarGames a year and then 1 elimination, or they just change the rules, because there were multiple instances in the this year's Survivor Series where both in the men's and the women's, where before the match technically starts, when everyone's in the ring and we're still waiting on everyone to come in and enter, people are trying to make covers, and it's an awkward moment of like, what are you doing, bud? You're not supposed to pin yet. And it's always awkward. It always sucks. Commentary has to do damage control on it. Very much sucks. I would be cool with them changing the rules of WarGames and make it an elimination match. And I think that'd be super cool. Like imagine say the Bloodline, right? We started with what, Tama Tonga and Jey Uso. What if Tama Tonga somehow like had the it's not gonna happen. This is purely hypothetical. But like, what if Tama Tonga gets a shock upset and pins Jey Uso before anybody else can come in? And then it's just like Bloodline have a handicap for the rest of the match. Like I think there's a lot of story that could be told with that kind of scenario.
So this was actually an idea brought up when I was watching Survivor Series with friends of the show, Phil and Luke. What's up, boys? Because we had the idea of, we were talking about, well, we missed the old traditional Survivor Series matches. What if we could implement that into WarGames? The problem is you'd have to bend the rules a little bit. And I like the idea you have about, like having pinfalls immediately as soon as the first two enter the ring. We were talking about the idea of that, but you have elimination pinfalls begin when all 5 men are in the ring, or all 10 men are in the ring, if you will. The problem is that could take forever. Like,
and it does.
It already does, but it would be a cool idea. It's just that by the time all 10 guys are in the ring, if it's now elimination rules after that, it's already a long ass match. It could go longer if we have to go elimination, especially if you have like a big story going on in that WarGames match. They're going to want to ramp that shit up and really they want to milk the story as much as they can before the finish. Like, think about it. If it was elimination rules in the men's WarGame this year, they are going to milk the whole can Punk and Roman coexist of trying to work with each other without trying to kill each other thing, while Solo and them realize that's the distraction we need and start taking out everyone else. So now it's just Roman and Punk, theoretically, against the entire new bloodline and have to pin all 5 of them instead of just one guy.
That sounds fun. Like,
that sounds
more intriguing to me. And I mean, granted, we'll get into the match itself, but I actually like the way this WarGames played out, the Bloodline one. I thought it was great. But yeah, with this in mind, like, I would love a scenario. Like, imagine being like they start Jacob Fatu and Jey Uso, and Jacob pins Jey before anybody else can even come in the ring. We're putting over Jacob as this unstoppable force. You're having the shock lost for Jey, where Jey now has to do some soul searching. Maybe he hangs out outside and tries to help from outside the cage. Maybe he's bullying with Paul Heyman outside. I don't know. But the common thread that I'm starting to see with all these WarGames matches, especially since it's become a regular tradition and the luster of it being a new match type is worn off, where now it's like you're spending the first half hour waiting, doing this Royal Rumble style staggered entrance, and it's like nothing really happens in that time that's really super important, super like story heavy. You can't really tell the story until everyone in the match involved is actually in the ring. So
right, but then at the same time, it just feels awkward if you have a situation where, say it's like Tama and Jimmy, the first two that come in. If Tama pins Jimmy before the next person even comes out, it's like, then what? What's Tama going to do for like multiple minutes waiting? Just climb the cage and go,
I mean, you could just say, hey, you know what? If the pinfall, there's two things to correct that. One thing is wait till there's at least 3 people in the ring, or 2 from each team, right? So then if one person is covered, then, but that gets a little in the weeds. So what you do, I would say, is if it's 1-on-1 and you pin the guy on the other team, you immediately send the next guy from their team out, just to keep the match going, keep it 1-on-1.
Right.
So like Jimmy gets pinned by Tama, fuck it, send Sammy Uso, send Jey Uso, send CM Punk right away. Don't wait on the time, don't worry about the time, just send them, right? Or you do like a minute or something, right? Of like, all right, now you got to cool down. You can chill for a minute. Maybe like have like a corner man or something. I don't know. Like,
sure, yeah.
So many different ways to go about it. It is a little messy, but like, hey, fuck it. Wrestling is messy. Wrestling is fun.
Wrestling is wrestling. Yeah.
Well, now that we've gotten the fantasy booking out of the way,
time to talk about the card.
Let's go back to the real booking.
Yep.
All right. So I'm also going to get this out of the way. I was in and out of this show, and I watched it in multiple different locations. So now, that being said, here we go. Team Rhea, which includes Rhea, Io, Naomi, Bayley, and Bianca Belair, face a team of Team Liv with Liv, Raquel, Nia, Tiffany, and Candice LeRae. And Team Rhea won.
Yep. You just about summed that up.
That's my reaction.
I was also in and out of. So I was in and out kind of the whole night. So what I saw was kind of and then Io jumped off a thing with a trash can, and she trusts trash can. So
Io Sky saved this match
because this could have been bad.
Oh yeah.
This match was great. I will say, though, from a wrestling perspective, the match was great. I think it did a good job. I just think that the wrong team went over.
Yeah, it was fun. What I love about the women's gimmick matches now with these pay-per-views is that it's going to be just a car crash fiesta of fun. Someone's going to do something ridiculous. I do want to say Io was definitely the MVP of the match, but I do want to give honorable mention, and she deserves it, to Tiffany Stratton. That swanton was one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen. Good for you, Tiffany. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about Team Rhea winning. I really don't.
Rhea pinning Liv specifically makes the rest of the story going forward kind of interesting, I guess. I mean, I said I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like yes, no.
We kind of started to lose the plot on this Rhea Liv thing.
Mhm.
Dom's kind of a non-factor at this point. Raquel kind of doesn't matter at this point. Nothing really matters about their feud at this point, and that is kind of upsetting for the thing that was the hottest story all summer.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me is like you have your two women's champions and your women's Money in the Bank on one team, and you have them all lose. And you have a scenario where Tiffany was about to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase. This was the fucking time to cash it in. The moment she thought about cashing it in was the moment. Like, this was the way to handle it. And instead, she just stood there and was like, and then she's out. And she got taken out. Done. That's it. All the hopes of her cashing in were done. And it was like, this was the time. And then you have the faces win, which, sure, like, look at the names. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Naomi, Bayley, Bianca Belair. You notice anything? Because I noticed that they're the top 5 baby faces in the women's division, and it's not even close. And my only thing, with Jade was there as well, so that would make 6. But, like, that's pretty much it. But, like, in my opinion, none of these women needed a win. None. All of them could have lost and been fine. There's a debate for Naomi, maybe, but
a couple of them are an attorney.
Rhea's impervious. She's untouchable.
Rhea is untouchable.
Io just got the #1 contendership.
How? So I mean, but that's the thing though, right? Like, so if you can, Rhea's only untouchable for so long, and if we're losing interest in her and Liv's story anyway, what does her getting pinned by Liv again do?
Do something different, because Rhea's been on the upper hand at every single turn.
Yeah, but at this point, like, I don't want to interrupt. It's just like, what more different can we get at this point? If Liv pins Rhea,
she's got to win this belt, or this belt's got to move.
Yeah.
If Liv pins Rhea, at least there's some doubt that, like, Liv could win.
Yeah, but it's also been, if Liv pins Rhea, this has also been Liv pins Rhea after months and months of Rhea pins Liv LOL.
Right.
But it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I would rather Liv get the pin than add that to another list of Rhea wins LOL.
However,
yeah.
I am a little confused based off of they've been kind of stat padding
a little bit.
Couple of these ladies all year. So super odd that they chose this to not go in the W column for somebody like Liv or somebody like Nia.
Yeah.
Or Tiffany. Literally, it could have, like, it was Liv, Nia, or Tiffany's match to win.
No, notice who we're not talking about in this conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, we're noticing.
Just notice. Yeah, we're just making sure. The thing with the Tiffany Stratton situation is, like, the whole match, we were like, okay, where's the briefcase? Is it under the ring? She didn't walk out with it. It's somewhere, right? We all knew that briefcase is somewhere in that ring. Tiffany pulls it out of the trash can, and the moment of her standing over Nia and Liv holding the briefcase, I was like, oh, she's actually going to do it. She's actually going to cash in. As I said that, I kind of thought to myself, wait, what happens to the match that's currently going on if she cashes in the middle of it? Does she cash in, pin one of them, win title? Does match still go on?
Does it turn into a 10?
Who cares?
Turn into a 10-man every man
for themselves.
Here's the thing.
That would have been sick.
Here's the thing. I don't really care. Anything would have been more entertaining and more intriguing than what they did.
Yes, it would have. However, one thing we are getting used to as wrestling fans in this new era, well, it's been the new era for a while, is there's actual logic in the booking. And if that were to happen, the logic is then thrown out the window and set on fire.
I mean,
right?
There's little logic in Rhea winning.
I know. Yes, it would have been more entertaining, but at the same time, it would have been like, wait, so what the hell's going on with the current fucking fiesta we've been watching for the last, 15, 20 minutes at this point? And to the point of a lot of things would have been better than Rhea getting the pin, specifically Rhea getting the pin. Part of me gets it. Part of me is like, could have been someone else. Could have been Io.
Could have been Io.
Could have been Io.
The face mask was crazy, though.
The face mask was crazy.
Shout out Jason Baker.
Yep, made by Jason Baker.
Yeah.
He's the guy who made the Fiend mask. He's been working with the Wyatts as well.
Friend of a friend.
Friend of a friend.
Yeah.
Yusuf and I met him. Shout out to you, Jason. Good to meet you, bro.
Yeah, lovely guy.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I definitely see where you're coming from about like the logic thing and like yes, the logic is like kind of like thrown out the window, but also like that's none of our job to figure out. That's WWE's job to figure out.
That is true. That's
Let them
job.
figure it out. And what I would do if I were in that position, what I would do is fuck it. Have the match within a match. Have Tiffany versus whoever she wants to cash in this match. Have it happen and then carry on, because if she cashed in, it would have been an easy pinfall and then the match could have kept going. That's what I think. I mean, like, at least it's something different, right? And I think that's the thing that with Money in the Bank in particular is where we're getting to, is like we're running out of new ways to use the briefcase.
Running out.
Yeah, if we haven't already.
We've been out for like 10 years.
Well, we haven't had somebody hold the case until the next Money in the Bank and cash in then. That's like the only thing I want to see at this point out of the Money in the Bank case that we haven't already seen. Yep.
What if they accidentally miscounted and it would be 366?
Yo, I mean, like, I think it's... I don't know if they've said within... I don't know if they've said specified.
To the next event.
That's what I thought. And if so, I think
the events are usually at the same time.
I also think it would be hilarious if somebody, like, lapsed on their case and ran out of time. And like they actively tried to cash in at Money in the Bank and they failed, and then it lapsed and they couldn't cash in.
I assume that the time limit for that, because it's so
odd.
If it
because fails, then it doesn't lapse. They failed already.
Yeah, because
they failed to cash it in. They didn't find the opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, because the assumption is you'd have to cash in the briefcase before that next Money in the Bank match the next year.
I'm assuming before the bell rings.
I'd assume.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Tiffany cashes in the morning of Money in the Bank.
Well,
hey, bro. Crashes the hotel room. Good morning.
Well, the ladies did their thing, but the match was what it was. The match kind of was what it was going in, and it is what it is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Going next into this journey that was Survivor Series.
Hey, yo, can I steer the ship on this one?
The LA Knight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, you don't get my because you didn't let me steer the ship.
And Shinsuke Nakamura. Go ahead.
My boy! They finally did our boy right. And what was the way to do it? To repackage him as a Sekiro boss.
But it wasn't a kick in the nuts this time, though.
It wasn't a kick in the nuts.
That's great. It was
kick in the nuts.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Isn't that how he won the U.S.? He's won a U.S. title before.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about
it. He kicked what's his name in the
dick
nuts.
kick was the Styles feud for the WWE title.
No,
he feuded with AJ Styles for the WWE title.
He went for a dick.
Come on.
He went for a dick kick on. It was like Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton.
Oh, was it? I guess dick kicking was his gimmick.
In here somewhere.
I guess it was his gimmick.
Yeah, you're right. That was dick kick Nakamura back then. Yeah,
there was a dick kick in here somewhere.
Yeah,
anyway,
so
there was no dick kick here. Long story less,
relatively
before
clean.
Tyler gets into his thoughts, to kind of explain the match. The match was kind of one-sided. No?
Very.
Yeah, and the finish was relatively clean. I think there was a spot where like Shinsuke hit LA Knight on like the metal spot in between the rings.
Yeah, the metal in between the rings.
So like I would argue it's not entirely clean. So people that said it was clean, you're kind of wrong there. But it's fine. I'll take it.
Okay. No. Here's the argument.
You can use
I guess.
the ring apron.
Yeah, you can use the ring apron. I think the argument there to whether or not you can say it's clean or not is he didn't pin LA Knight after he gave him the DDT or the backbreaker on the metal, rolled him in first, then hit him, then pinned him. I think that justifies it being clean.
Okay, so when you go to the other ring in these singles matches when we have two rings, is it a count out?
I don't know. I
Have-
don't think they've ventured out long enough in that ring to.
I don't.
Oh, there's
yeah,
got to be
because
something.
I know there's
two rings
moments.
is not a new concept.
There's moments
in pro
when they're
wrestling.
in the middle of the ring, and I think it happened during the Gunther Priest match too, where they're in the middle of the rings and the ref doesn't count them out. So I'm like, make this make sense. They're
Maybe-
not in the ring.
Can you get counted out in a 2-ring?
Maybe not.
You
I
can just
don't
keep going from
really-
ring to ring
I
to
guess
ring.
not. Yeah.
Can you do
could
that?
if you want? Maybe.
I have no idea. I have
I'm
no
sure
idea.
someone's done it.
These questions that will, may or may not get answered. in the
I
future.
don't know if we.
Yeah.
I don't know if we fully answered that. Nakamura did win this match. He has a
He
belt
did
again,
win.
and
He was champion.
Thank
cares?
God, dude. Thank God. No, here's the thing,
Yeah.
right? No, guys. No. Here's the thing, right? You had this title match. As soon as they announced this title match, I was like, Shinsuke is absolutely winning. He has to win.
this is a little
Otherwise-
bit of a Vinceism.
Oh well.
It's not. I don't think
You
it
sure?
is. No, yeah.
Carry on. Carry on.
Yeah, this is rare. Vince is a 50-50 booking guy. Vince is a guy where he would have had a fluke win for LA Knight. Like he would have grabbed the tights or a low blow or some kind of cheeky way to steal the win, and then Shinsuke gets mad and beats the shit out of LA Knight. That's the Vinceism.
Okay.
The
that's fair.
this is Vince. There is no Vinceism when you come in and in your first title opportunity within 2 weeks of being back and win the title clean. That's
Yeah.
not really a Vinceism unless your name is Brock Lesnar.
It's that NXTism.
I guess.
It's an ism of some kind.
I just
I do what
pull
you-
up, I get a belt, and then I win a
Like-
belt.
But here's the
I
thing,
think-
right? Another thing to consider is like, all right, LA Knight has been a decent US champion, right? But
Yeah.
say he beats Shinsuke here, right? Kills Shinsuke's new character. Sekiro boss is not really a Sekiro boss at that point. And it's like, okay, like, where does LA Knight go? He's beaten Mello. He's beaten Andrade. He's beaten Andrade and Mello at the same time. He's now beaten Shinsuke. Who else does he have? Who else does he have? Not really anybody.
Tama Tonga.
You mean Tongaloa, because you still mix them up, huh?
Either
No,
or.
Tama Tonga, either or. Jacob Fatu.
No.
No,
Okay,
he's too good for that. He's too good for that.
Low-key,
We can't put Jacob Fatu.
Low-key
in
Solo could have been a solid US
unserious
champ.
things.
Solo could be a solid US champ at this point. But
Yeah.
at this point, you don't really have logical challengers in sight.
No.
And honestly, I think since LA Knight has won the US title, fans have kind of soured on him. I haven't. I know we
agree.
haven't.
I
Okay, you have.
I brought up this point.
Yep. Okay. Well, I guess LA Knight is mid now that he's champion, but
He's mid, not because he's champion. He's mid because they took too long to even get to where we're at right now.
that's
the
what I was
thing.
going to say.
That's
Yeah.
the thing here, right? We wasted time. And I know we wasted time because Roman, right? I know that's the overarching theme, right? That's the overarching theme of a lot of things over the last 2 years, right?
drafted him to Raw.
We wasted time because of Roman. But Roman wasn't in the US title picture. So then we wasted time with Logan Paul. Debatably. Because we like the Logan Paul thing, but the Logan Paul experiment should have ended at Mania. That was like that should have been the point, right? That like to have this big kind of whatever superstar that's not a wrestler but is a wrestler. And he should have lost to LA Knight. That's what the moves were. I don't understand where we pulled this Styles feud out of his ass to waste 6 months of all of our time when he could have just beaten Logan Paul.
I agree.
So from there, right, we then had to waste more time to get him back into the US title picture, right? Which was still against who?
Mr. Paul.
Who?
Who?
Tyler? Who
Who
did he beat?
Who he beat Logan Paul.
Thank you. So we again just kind of wasted our fucking time.
Well,
Okay.
the other problem too is they've started intertwining things of like, hey, we know that Logan Paul should probably have a challenger for the US title, but here, Cody title match. Ooh, ah.
Yeah, honestly, the Saudi fans would have went batshit for LA Knight winning a belt. They love him.
Yeah.
They love Logan Paul more, I think.
That's
do
true.
love
That's
Logan Paul
true.
more.
But they
I think.
didn't. No, I don't know. They cheered Cody over Logan Paul. I watched that match.
I mean, so did the rest of us.
But,
I
I
still
mean-
think they like
Fine,
Logan
but-
Paul over
But,
LA Knight.
but no,
That's
I totally agree with you, Emil. And I think the biggest thing is also like LA Knight is when he won that title. I part of me in the back of my mind, as obviously I was happy for him. Obviously, it's great that he won that belt. Obviously, I'm going in hoping that he elevates the prestige of that belt. But I couldn't help but think in the back of my mind that he's probably a little above that belt at this point because they took too long. He didn't need that belt to elevate to as high as he was.
He's above it, but below it at the same time, right? Because the thing now is like he's doing promos with people who can't do promos, which doesn't work for him. It's like when you put The Rock up against Billy Gunn, like it just doesn't work. Like Billy Gunn is great on the mic in a tag team, but when they tried to put him in a singles thing, and then Rock just verbally abused him,
dominates.
And the worst part is here, right? Is LA is a catchphrase machine, right? Like that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Right? That's the whole point. And unfortunately, going against people who are playing these more grounded, real wrestlers isn't gonna work for him. And that's also that's what he was doing from his time between August and now, right? He's messing around with Carmelo, which Carmelo hasn't gotten his full shine yet on the microphone, in my opinion, because he's better than what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Andrade, he is what he is on the mic. He's fine. He's a mid-carder. That's what he is. So we wasted a bunch of time on things and people that he's gonna have a hard time elevating without burying, right? Because he is The Rock. Truly, like he doesn't have to cut amazing promos because he's a fucking catchphrase machine. He doesn't have to kill these promo segments anymore because he's not in a ring with Roman, or he's not in a ring with Orton, or he's not in a ring with AJ even. He's not in a ring with Logan Paul, who's great on the microphone, has a wonderful gift of gab. And so he kind of soured off of the things he was doing, to me, at least. And, you know, the one great promo he's had, I think, in the last 6 months is the one he did, like 3 weeks ago, where he says, well, she's calling me daddy, and he's screaming uncle. And I was like, that's the one right there. Did it make everybody else in the ring look like goofs? Yes. And that's the problem.
But were they not goofs before?
They were already goofs.
They were all goofs.
They were already goofs.
It's Santos. Come on.
But I don't know what. So then if you're gonna put him in those situations, you just need to let him bury somebody, which means you got to pick the person who he's burying.
What you're telling me right now, without actually saying it, because you're not realizing you're saying it, is he didn't have good enough challengers.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't have good enough challengers.
Which lowers his stock.
Exactly. Because you all the people you listed off, right? The Roman, the Cody, the Roman, the Cody, the KO, all those people that you listed off just like a little while ago, Logan Paul, all that, are miles better than these people and bring out the best in an LA Knight. And as good, and LA Knight is great. LA Knight is great, but it's less entertaining when he's every week coming out and verbally pantsing people. You know, it could be we could have a little bit of a different story, or at least, I don't know how to describe it. It just hasn't felt the same. The energy hasn't been there. And I think it's that, again, it's the people, they put him against people that are not developed.
They can't engage.
Yeah.
They can't engage.
Exactly.
With him.
Melo, brand new. Melo is brand new at the time. He's still working on it. And it wasn't the right time to put him against LA Knight, but there aren't any options. Andrade, same thing. He just got back not too long ago, and he's still trying to establish a connection with the fans and find what separates him from the rest, other than he speaks Spanish, and that's it. You know, people,
so
and
it's the roster,
right? But it's still hard for him to connect with the fans, though. He hasn't gotten anywhere.
It's a matter of,
but he's treated better. He's chilling.
I will say, LA Knight losing the title, I'm very happy about, because Shinsuke looks incredible in this repackaging, and I'm very happy. Awesome, cool, right? But to y'all's points about LA Knight and the title and taking too long, yes, it's taken way too long. It's taken too long to the point where, I will be honest, I did not realize until we did our predictions, or until we were talking about it last week's episode, that Nakamura LA Knight was going to be a thing. Because in my brain, I'm still so used to just this endless cycle of LA Knight feuding with Carmelo and or Andrade at the same time, and just recycling that as much as they could until they figure something out new. And to that point, when the saga of LA Knight from Mania, when he lost to Logan, and thanks to AJ Styles ruining his life or whatever, I can't remember, all the way fast forward to, SummerSlam is when he won it, right, in Cleveland? Yeah, SummerSlam, when he won the title from Logan. cool, congrats, we finally got our LA Knight story, the summer of LA Knight, if you will. Hooray. Everyone was too distracted after that, not thinking about what the plan after LA Knight is, because we were like, oh my god, I finally got the title, and we're all assuming he's going to have a long reign, it's going to be great, yada yada yada. We didn't. Fans were kind of distracted at that point because we were all so tired of waiting for him to actually win the belt that during his run, and it's not that it was a bad reign, like at least stat wise, like what, 8 defenses, 120 days, not bad, right? Pretty good.
Much better than Logan's.
Much better than Logan's. But it was dull. Like the fact, like, bring up to the best point, the fact that his best promo came 3 weeks ago.
And the promo literally was him saying, fuck you, Santos, I'm going to challenge your lackey because, I don't know, because he's looking at me funny.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
that was literally it. And it was low-key his best match as U.S. champion, I thought. I thought Berto was very shockingly good. And I thought that LA Knight was also good. And I thought that his promo was, the best work he has done since being champion. And I think part of it, too, is, like, complacency, right? Like, he got the championship, and then, again, where he's facing all these nobodies, and nobody felt like a threat to him.
I think it's partly complacency, but also partly we're so used to him wrestling a certain kind of guy on the roster, and we've been so used to it because he's been facing the same, like, 3 or 4 guys. He's faced Logan twice. He faced Andrade who knows how many times at this point. He's faced Carmelo who knows how many times at this point. So we're used to that ideal scenario of an LA Knight match. So when you throw someone completely new into the situation, like Humberto, and you go, oh, well, he's actually a pretty good wrestler. Oh, LA Knight's actually putting up, like, this is a really good wrestling match that both guys are putting together. That's when you go, okay, we need something fresh. We need something new for LA Knight. The problem is they didn't really have much besides, like, random low-tier mid-carders. And then for Nakamura to come back, great. Yes, Tyler.
I was just going to introduce a hypothetical. So if you have anything else you need to finish, by all means.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay, so quick hypothetical then, just to get the gears turning. If it wasn't Shinsuke to take this belt off of LA Knight, who should it have been? I'll go first. I have two, but I think I'll go with the one that I said from the beginning, and that is a heel Kevin Owens.
I don't think I have enough thought put into this one.
Okay, so I'll answer a second time for you. AJ, if he didn't get injured.
I think my first answer would have been AJ had he not been injured. Second answer, someone from the new bloodline.
Solid. That also is a good option.
Someone.
See, listen to all these good options, and we got none of those.
Because the thing is, right, like, they were too focused on putting the tag titles on the bloodline, and then only for them to drop it to Motor City Machine Guns like a month later or whatever it was. Nothing dominant about that. You have one of the most dominant tag teams in New Japan history. You put the WWE tag team titles on, and they're too busy either botching everything or whatever the hell sound Tama makes. But you had options. You had options with the new bloodline. Any of them could have challenged for that, right? Like, if you were going to put titles on one part of the bloodline, make it feel like the other bloodline, the better one, where, like, everyone had a belt of some kind. The Usos had the tag belts. Roman was world champ. Solo was North American champ for a hot minute. We forget about that, right? Like, make it make sense.
Sami Zayn was Usi.
Sami Zayn was Usi, and, like, you could have had. I get the whole, well, Solo is the new tribal chief thing, and it may only makes, quote unquote, it only makes sense for him to go for, like, the world title. Dude, you could have had him just kick the shit, like, have him lose to Cody, and then have him kick the shit out of LA Knight the next week on SmackDown, and be like, screw it. We are the bloodline. We are coming for all the belts. We want the gold. So might as well go for the next best thing on SmackDown, the US title. Do that. If you wanted to let the dog out loose, just have Jacob fucking kill him.
Then you have a story there. If you don't want Solo to ever get the world title, you have Solo almost jealous of Jacob.
Yeah.
And because he got a belt. You know what I mean? Like,
Jacob
there's stories.
Immediately got a belt.
There's stories.
Right? There's stories to be told. And yet they went with, and not to say it's a bad thing that they went with Nakamura on his return, because that repackaging is sick.
Oh, now he's going to take the belt to Noah for all of his excursion he's going on. He has a match. That is going to be cool. He has a match in Noah.
If he is still holding the belt by the time he goes to Noah on January 1st, that is going to be a sight to see. The U.S. title on Japan soil.
I honestly think he will. I think either LA Knight
think
moves
he
on to
will.
something else, or LA Knight just wins the title back.
But then where does he go? What does
Right,
he do?
right, where does
That's
he go?
the problem. He
He,
can't.
he should have been
Cody?
drafted to Raw. He should have
Again?
been drafted to Raw to
LA
begin with.
Knight Gunther would be fun.
Well, on an unrelated but related note is that the brand split has been called lax
Yep.
officially.
We're in the road to Mania season,
until
boys.
Mania. So we have
right now it's
all
the
the
road to
options in the
Netflix.
world
yeah, it's the road to
to
Netflix.
do whatever.
And
Have the Motor City Machine Guns been on TV?
Yes.
yes, they have. They've been on TV.
okay.
They haven't been on PLE.
They've
yet.
been cooking a tag team feud between like the DIY, the Street Profits, and Motor City because like they're
Oh, yeah.
teasing like this like heel turn with Ciampa ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And, like,
right.
potentially-
he walked away or something. Or
Yeah.
dropped him or
Yeah, he
something.
walked away.
Ciampa's
And
been like
apparently-
attacking him, walking
Apparently,
away.
they're considering turning the Street Profits heel. I don't know about that one, but
I think that's ship
Make
has sailed.
everybody a
Maybe
heel.
okay, good.
I don't know.
But yeah,
All right,
the
moving on,
machine guns have not been on PLE yet. So
Yeah.
Moving on.
Crime.
Triple threat match. Braun Breaker defeated Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser.
Cooked.
This is
Absolutely cooked.
hooked.
Absolutely cooked.
This was exactly what it needed to be.
And Braun won.
Give me
And Braun won.
give me Braun or Sheamus versus Braun at WrestleMania and have Sheamus win the belt.
Give me a
One day
2 out
they
of
will
3
let him get his
falls.
IC title at WrestleMania.
And it'll be
I think
WrestleMania.
it's gonna
One
be.
of
Probably
these
be
years.
I
One of
really
these
do
years.
think it's going to be WrestleMania 41. I
Yeah.
really do. I'll eat my words. Trust me, I'll eat my
that's
words if it
Triple
doesn't
H's
happen.
workout buddy. So
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, WrestleMania 27, baby. Was it 27? 26. Sorry,
28,
26.
no.
It was 26.
26?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
you're
Emil.
right,
It was
26.
26 with Sheamus Triple H. It was.
Yeah.
that's his workout buddy though.
Yeah.
Chaotic
But yeah,
as fuck
this-
match.
Chaotic as hell. It needed to be though, right?
Oh, yeah. Look
That's-
who's in it.
That's right. That's the thing. Look who's in it, because you have 3 guys who, character-wise, are so different about how they treat the ring. Sheamus's whole thing is he likes to fight.
Thanks,
Ludwig
Finlay.
Kaiser's thing is this mat is sacred. How dare you guys treat this ring like a circus? And Braun's thing is, hey, how fast do you think I can run at that guy? Let's find out. And
Want
then
to
he
see me
just-
do it again?
Want to see me do it again?
You
Because
want
I
to see me
will.
run around the ring and spear his
That-
ass? You want to see
that
me do it again?
Flying shoulder tackle Braun did. I was like, how did you get that much airtime? Holy shit, dude.
Crazy.
Freak of nature. But yeah, the match was exactly what it needed to be. Ludwig did a great job in playing his role in that whole thing, being the guy of like, I'm afraid of you two, so I'm just gonna dip for a bit, but I'm gonna be a snarky little heel and come around to here and there. Hitting Sheamus with the shillelagh, that's a fun time. Yeah, no complaints about it.
Fuck it.
Great
Have
guy won.
Ludwig.
Everything
Have Ludwig win that belt and have Sheamus win it off Ludwig.
Think I am noticing the crowd really get into Kaiser, which is super awesome.
They are, yeah.
Half of it I don't think is for the right reasons, but the other half of it, because of who he is currently with. The other half, of it,
right.
though,
Okay.
is definitely for the right reasons. I love the concept of him being like this weird, overly like flamboyant.
The Bond villain. He's a
He is
Bond,
a Bond
villain.
villain. He is a Bond
I
villain.
think so. I was watching this with a couple friends, one of which who isn't a huge wrestling fan. He doesn't get it, and he was like, "He looks like a Bond villain," and I was like,
he does.
He does. Yeah. He's like
If
super
you had-
clean and like super
If
smug.
you had Ludwig show up in the
Walks
suits
weird.
they made Giovanni Vinci wear, he would be a Bond villain. No, Tyler,
But
he's not
it's-
here. I'm
it's
sorry
the
to
little-
break it to
it's
you.
the little head
Gee-
Well,
tilt
not.
that
I was
always
doing
kills
this
me.
head turn in
Oh,
his
yeah, his
entrance
head
because
tilt.
it's like his music. It's like the Gunther music, but then it has like
Yeah.
these hits that are like bum bum bum, and he like turns side to side, and it's so
Yeah,
choreographed
he-
and it's so good.
He is so. It works for him. You know, it works.
Just call it what it is. It's
Keep doing your
flamboyant.
thing, dude. Yeah,
It is
flamboyant. It is
Yeah,
very
it's
Great.
flamboyant.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Someone,
it's working.
someone was saying that Ludwig should be the one to take the world title off Gunther, and I'm like, you can dream all you want. No,
That's fun fantasy
Cute,
booking.
Absolutely
cute in
not.
theory, but no.
no. But
Speaking
fun
of
match.
Gunther
Well, that was it.
That was it.
Speaking
It
of
was a fun
Gunther-
match, right guy won.
and the world title.
Gunther beat Priest. Apparently,
That
he was
match-
honorable. So I was completely out for this one.
That
Oh,
match
yeah.
took forever.
The match was not great.
no.
The match was slow.
But so I heard he was honorable though.
He was.
He
So
was.
Finn interfered and cost Damien the match. It allowed Gunther to. I mean, here's the thing: Gunther is honorable and noble, but if he sees an opportunity, whether it presents himself for the right or wrong reasons, he will take it.
Yeah.
And Finn interfered and cost Damien and set Damien up to pass out to the sleeper hold by Gunther. And also hurt his arm. The story was that his arm was hurting in the match as well, I think. I think Gunther was targeting the arm a lot. And part of the pain from the arm and the sleeper hold and the whole thing with Finn made him pass out. And then Gunther kicked Finn after the match because Finn interfered. All right, I don't know if it was after, but at some point he kicked Finn.
He passed out, not tapped out.
Correct. He passed out.
Like that.
I also like that. But also don't, because Gunther made the King of the Streets pass out.
So Priest is getting nowhere near any belt anytime soon.
Wrong.
And that is
again,
just
he passed out. He didn't lose in a pinfall.
They're not going to run it back.
Right,
if you got choked out, you're done.
So what people are speculating will happen, and I'm inclined to agree, is a triple threat. Because we've already gotten the same match. We've gotten Priest versus Gunther, and we've gotten the Finn interference, which leads to a one-on-one Priest-Finn match. I don't want we've already. Well, here's the no. I'm explaining what already happened.
Oh wait, we didn't have that yet.
Well, hold up, let me cook. Damn it! Oh man! All right, it's SummerSlam. We had Priest versus Gunther with a Finn interference, which led to Finn versus Damian at Bad Blood. We already got both of those things. We got the part 2 of Gunther Priest. We don't need a part 2 of Finn and Damian. So I think they're gonna do a triple threat. I think they're gonna do Gunther, Finn, Damian. I don't think it's gonna be at Saturday night's main event. I think it'll be on a Raw. It could be at Saturday night's main event, but like I don't think they're gonna put that there. I don't think the mainstream audience will really care. Because I think in talking about Saturday night's main event, it's got to be stuff that's gonna attract mainstream viewers of television, because it's not. I read online and got confirmation it's not just a Peacock special. It's literally on NBC on primetime. Like it's on television. It's gonna be marketed to a whole different audience.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, yeah. Just to talk about the match, it's like, cool. We'll see where this goes. I'm getting fucking sick and tired of Finn Balor getting in anybody's business. Like, you lost. This is over. This should have been done. The Judgment Day should be dead. You shouldn't even be holding the tag titles right now.
Yeah, you are one of the worst tag team champions of all time. You should probably stick to being a better version of that.
Yeah, like...
At least they acknowledge it.
Reform Bullet Club, damn it.
Which is weird.
It's almost worse that they acknowledge that they are a shit tag team.
Yeah.
It's strange, for sure.
It's meta as fuck, but it's like...
It's a choice.
Well, the problem
Raiders should have won.
We're just going to not book these people, and then we're also going to tell you that we're not booking these people.
War Raiders should have just won from the jump, maybe?
Maybe.
Instead of having Finn and JD retain for no reason?
Is that what happened on Monday, right?
We
couldn't had a championship match and they retained?
We couldn't bring in everything all at once with Motor City Machine Guns and the Raiders all kind of doing the same thing.
That's fair.
We couldn't do it all at once.
That's fair.
No,
you can have it all, but not all at once.
No, exactly. So yeah, Gunther wins. Priest is chilling, and Gunther is going to get ready to drop the title to Dominic Mysterio.
That's right.
Let's
get into speaking of having it all, but not having it all at once.
Here we go.
We taking it all. Dun, 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 dun. Wow, 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 wow.
That theme is the more I listen to it, that theme is actually sick. I love
this theme. So
it's great.
We had OG Bloodline with the Usos, Roman, and Sammy, and their fifth member being Punk.
Phil Brooks, CM Punk.
And the new Bloodline consisting of the Tongans, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, and Bronson Reed.
Big old Bronson Reed.
We went through why these teams make sense already, so I don't feel like I need to do that again.
No.
All right.
I just gotta say it.
Let's get a couple things out of the way.
I gotta say it. This match, for me, match of the year, not named Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania 40.
All right, let's just call it like it is, y'all. There was nothing in this. There was no shenanigans. No. There was no nothing.
Nope.
Yeah.
There was no nothing.
The only shenanigans was the spot when Punk went to swing at Bronson in the cage, in the shark cage.
Punk
that was funny.
Breaking all of the rules and just slapping people for no reason. Because what did Bronson do?
Punk can do what he wants.
What did Bronson do to anybody?
He looked at him funny. I don't know.
Yeah, he just looked at him funny.
He looked at him weird, I guess.
What I love, and I didn't realize that this had happened in that moment, was when Punk just slapped Bronson and threw his face over. I didn't realize that Jimmy started flipping them off and started Bronson. That's why the screen cut black.
Lol.
I did not realize that in the moment because
Damn,
like we're
I
watching
missed
it,
that.
right? And the screen cuts on them, and we're like, "Is there a problem with our connection? Like, what the hell's going on?" And then we're like, "No, it's a broadcast issue." And they're like, "Why would they just cut it out?" I found out later on Twitter that's what happened.
Is there a picture? Is there a
Somewhere,
video?
yeah, there is a video.
That's great.
That's awesome. There was
Yeah,
a
Punk
lot
breaks the
of
rules.
swearing in this
Yes,
match.
there was.
There was a lot going on. I mean, so Roman's got a pretty foul mouth. The Usos obviously cannot control themselves.
Punk.
Solo Sikoa can also apparently has been given the free range to kind of say whatever he wants. The Tongans don't speak English, so no worries there.
And Jacob Fatu's
And
only
Jacob
words are,
Fatu
"I
is,
love you,
I
Solo."
love you,
They def-
Solo.
I love you, Solo. He said that multiple times.
So
Too many
super
times.
interesting the amount of profanity in this match for really not as violent as this could have been. There was what a table spot.
There was one spot where there was a Punk got out the toolbox. Call back
The
to the Hell in a
toolbox was
Cell
cool.
match. That was cool. As soon as he took the toolbox out, everybody was like, "Oh, hold up, we don't want this smoke. We don't want this smoke. We know what Punk can do with the toolbox," which was great. I liked that.
Oh, on the topic of before we carry on with this topic, because this will be a while, obviously, on the topic of weapons being involved in the WarGames match, I would like to give a shout out to the toilet lid.
Big facts.
Big facts. I would like to
That
give
was
a shout out
The
to the
toilet lid was
I
wild.
would
looked
also
up
like
and
to
there
give a
was a
shout
toilet
out.
lid.
I would also like to give shout out to Michael Cole saying on commentary, "Is that a toilet lid?" Just confused.
mean-
Love it. Love it. Anyway,
There was also a spot where somebody hit Jacob with a weapon of some sort. Wasn't it like the chair or some kind of weapon? I think it was Jay, maybe. Jay hit him with something, and then he got right back up. And then Jay was like, "Oh, shit."
Jacob.
Oh, no, he threw the chair at
He
him.
threw the
Yeah,
chair at him.
yeah.
He fell
Threw
and
the
his-
chair at him,
Jacob,
and then he
the
was like,
fact that-
"Shit."
Jacob
They got-
yeah, that was one, but Jacob got hit with something and then immediately
got
hulked
right back
back
up,
up,
yeah.
and Cole was like freaking out. Like,
The fact
what
that
the hell?
they did not one but two Jacob Fatu no sell spots in the same match in two different parts of the match.
Do we like that? Do we like that?
I love it.
Love it.
I love
Okay.
it. Because here's the thing:
I don't know
the whole
about that.
idea of Jacob Fatu is very simple. This dude is a fucking animal. He's a Samoan werewolf. He's a different breed of the Samoan wrestling family. You can throw everything you want and everything you can at him. He will get his ass back up immediately and beat the fuck out of you. That's the point of Jacob Fatu. He's different from everyone else. That's why when the Usos see him, they go, "Oh shit, what are we going to do about him?" When Solo sees him, he goes, "The fuck are they going to do about him?" Roman even sees Jacob. Roman obviously is still above Jacob, but at the same time, it's how are we going to take you down? What are we going to do about you? Because you're a problem. That is why I love having multiple no-sell spots for Jacob in the same match, especially in a match like this where it's just, violent to a
Chaos.
point, right? Chaos, right? It's all this chaos, but amidst all this chaos, Jacob just gets right back up and just starts like what I think it's either the Jey Uso or maybe it was probably Jimmy Uso where he no-sells it, gets back up, and then does his Samoan drop off the ropes. Like, this is exactly what we want from Jacob Fatu, and we're getting it. Works out.
All right. The rest of the match happened. We had we liked the whole mafia boss of it all at the end standing his ground as he knows he's about to get his ass fucking put down.
That shit was straight out of the house show booking.
Yep.
Man's got everyone's finisher.
Man's got 6 finishers total,
He died.
technically.
So we killed Solo, so
5.
Solo should not be around for a little bit.
No.
Which is
However,
crazy
no one's
because
gonna do that.
one thing, well, there is a reason to keep Solo around, and the commentary did hint to it. So even though Roman pinned Solo,
He's still
Solo
the
is
tribal
still the
chief.
tribal chief. This
No.
was not this was not sanctioned for the Ulafala or the head of the table or the tribal chief moniker at all. So that match still has yet to be done, and I think Saturday night's main event could be that place.
Well, here's the thing, right? We haven't had yet their actual solo encounter, their one-on-one match,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
traded pinfalls on each other in big-time tag matches.
Correct.
Big-time multi-man matches. So now we have to do the solo dolo match. Roman wins, LOL.
And then Solo goes away for a while, probably.
And they all go away.
That's the thing, though. It's like I
That's
want
the
them.
problem,
I want them
right?
all to
Like-
stay together because I feel like, at least for the Tongans in particular, I'm worried about how they fare once everyone's on their own. Solo, I think, will be fine.
Maybe
Jacob,
decent
I think,
booking.
will be fine. I think the Tongans could be fine, but they're probably the ones that I'm the most concerned about if they get separated. I also like all four of them together. I think it's a good unit. Even if I would be cool if they continued and just did not call themselves the Bloodline, didn't associate themselves with the family, with the tribal chiefdom, and they just were a new faction entirely. And
hard to
fuck it,
escape
keep
that,
Bronson
though,
in there
now.
too. Keep
It is
Bronson
hard
in
to
there.
escape that.
It's hard to
yeah.
escape that now because that was the whole
Part of it, but also like it's easy to get out of it. You're not everyone needs to be an Anawa'i Samoan. They can just be Samoan, you know?
Yeah.
But they are all Anawahi Samoans.
Well, not Bronson
Well,
anymore. Bronson
the
literally
Tongan-
came out with. Let's talk about this too. The new Bloodline came out united to Solo's music. We taking it all, and Bronson was out there with them. He's still doing the one. He's dressed like them. Bronson's looking like he's fully in the Bloodline, and if he is, I'm cool with that. But I can see why other people would not want him to be associated.
I think he's got too much other stuff to do
Agreed.
that unless he's going to be like an affiliate, like I'm trying to think of a good example like that. Like maybe Will Ospreay in the thing.
Maybe, yeah.
Or just like Punk with the current Bloodline, like hey, like with the OG Bloodline, like you need help, Bronson's there for you, you know. But
Yeah.
like, he's not a regular member. He's just kind of he's a guest.
an auxiliary member.
He's a
Yeah.
guest.
The
You know?
auxiliary is a good
Yeah.
point. The fear I have with the Tongans is like you can utilize them for the tag division because the SmackDown tag division's pretty good. DIY, Street Profits is being led by the Motor City Machine Guns.
Just give him the name back.
Yeah. Just do that. Let them be God again and just have them hang around in the tag division for a while. It's fine. It's not going to harm anything.
Yeah.
Besides that, we don't talk about that.
Does he
but
keep that?
Yeah.
hope
He has to keep
not.
that. Come on.
I don't know.
He's gotten that over.
Oh.
People are
He
crowds are
has.
crowds are doing the yeah bit.
Yeah,
Crowds are
he
doing
has.
it. Also,
Ridiculous.
shout out to him climbing on the cage in the beginning of the match like it was fucking like a Bowser's Castle in fucking
Yeah, what
Mario
the hell?
Mario Brothers.
He was
or
just
some
like
shit.
scaling that cage the whole time, and I'm like, is he gonna get down at some point?
One fry short of a Happy Meal.
Yeah.
That man.
Call of the century.
Call of the night.
Century. But I think the Tongans will be okay. Jacob's gonna be more than okay. It's just gonna feel weird when this bloodline splits up because they work. You're right. They do work better as a unit. But what if they split up? That's three realistically separate. If we don't count Bronson, that's three separate storylines we got to put together for them. What do they do next? What does Jacob do? Jacob can do whatever the hell he wants. He'll be fine. The Tongans go to the tag titles again, but this time they're not under Solo's regime. They're doing their own thing, and if they want to do it the way they used to, it'll be a little more interesting. And then with Solo, it's like, what do you do now? Because when he has his one-on-one with Roman, Solo loses that match unless Dwayne shenanigans.
I think Solo will stay after the draft, after Mania, will stay on SmackDown. And I think that the new Bloodline and the OG Bloodline will all be completely separate. I think everyone in the OG Bloodline will be on Raw, and the new Bloodline will be on SmackDown, and that'll be it. I will say, there wasn't shenanigans. There wasn't the surprise that the internet thought we were gonna get with Rock or Brock.
I don't know where this Brock stuff.
Yeah,
came
where
from.
is the Brock thing coming from? He's not coming back.
So-
Although
Just
there's a
stop
lot
that.
of mention of Brock recently.
So
Yeah.
there's been a lot of mention of Brock. Brock is, I believe, from Saskatchewan, right?
Well, he lives
Indeed.
in Saskatchewan.
Or yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he lives
Yeah, he
there.
lives in
So
Saskatchewan,
relative. I'm no expert in Canadian geography, but people said that it was pretty attainably close to Vancouver if you were
like
able to
a-
get there.
2-hour flight.
right?
I was gonna say, isn't Saskatchewan like in like
It's
the
like
middle
dead
west?
center
It's
of
in-
the country.
yeah, it's
I was
the
gonna
center.
say,
It's like
and
the
then
dead center of
Vancouver
the
is like
country.
the
West
point.
Coast.
But
Yeah.
again, 2-hour flight. Brock's got that Brock money, no matter
time zones.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, we know what's going on with Brock. It's not happening. It's not
No.
happening. If
No.
it does,
Stop.
then something has to happen with that case that
Yeah.
the public may not even know about. So honestly, there was a chance that Brock could show up if the public was not made aware of some details in that case.
So sidebar, because Punk has made a deal with Paul Heyman, and currently Punk is on Raw,
Correct.
entering the ring.
Yeah. What I was gonna say about that too is to get off that subject is we didn't get any shenanigans, we didn't get any surprises. The main plot line of this War Games, besides the fact of it being the OG and New Bloodline, was this: how will Roman Reigns and CM Punk coexist? And they told a fantastic story throughout the match, right? Punk's ready to go out third, and Roman holds his arm out and blocks Punk from going and tells Sammy, "You go." In the War Games. And that led to a moment of like, ooh, what's going to happen there?
So then later,
Yep.
Punk then sees the cage open, and Roman's ready to strut his shit,
Very slowly, like Roman does.
as Roman does. He's on Roman time. He's not on normal time.
Right.
Punk said, "Fuck that," and ran to the cage.
Bumps
'cause
by him, like shoulder
he's like,
bumps
Get
him.
the fuck out the way. I'm
Yep,
over this.
shoulder
I'm
checks
not
him.
I don't play by bloodline time.
I don't play by bloodline rules. What you gonna do now? Yeah, so that happened, and then as the match went on, it was a lot of like, Roman's helping everybody up except for Punk. He's leaving Punk to lay there. There's been funny memes that have come out of Roman standing over Punk on the ground as well. Cassius Ohno over me. So funny.
Cassius Ohno
That was
over
funny.
me?
That
Wait,
was
what?
hilarious.
That was funny.
Yeah, so when the Shield formed, it was supposed to be a faction built around Punk. And Punk
Do you remember-
picked
yeah.
the members.
Yes, yeah.
Punk
I
picked
remember that.
Moxley and Rollins, and the third guy was like
Chris Hero.
Chris
Well,
Hero,
it was supposed to be Chris Hero. It was supposed to be Cassius Ohno. Punk wanted that, but WWE kind of flexed their arm and were like, well, Roman Reigns is going to be the next big guy, so let's put Roman in there instead. So that was like the WWE's insertion into the Shield. And thank God they did that. They were actually right in that call. But yeah, so there were moments there. There were moments where, the couple moments where the Bloodline's picking each other up. And I thought that was really, really cool. I thought those were cool moments in the match. Good storytelling. It shows that they've really come around and they've really just said, you know what? Bygones are bygones. We are family. And they are holding each other up, bringing each other up. And then there was one point where Bronson has Roman laid out on a table, and he's about to do the tsunami off the top of the cage through the table. And Punk runs up and grabs Roman and drags him out of the way just in the nick of time to dodge the move. And at that point, Roman's like, oh, shit, this guy actually cares about me. Okay. Oh, okay. And so eventually they're like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. We're working together. That, and also with Paul coming in and saying, it's War Games, I'm doing all these voices
I love
today.
that I love that moment where after everyone gets in the ring, where it's just them staring at each other.
Yep.
Paul Heyman comes down freaking out. He's like, "You guys have to coexist. You have to be friends. You have to do this. This is War Games." And then the bell rings, and I'm like, "Fucking
Yeah,
perfect.
that was
the
fucking-
greatest thing they've ever
That
done.
was pretty sweet. But yeah, the story the two of them told throughout was fantastic. I loved it. And the way the show ended, turns out Paul Heyman made a deal with CM Punk because Punk went to hug Paul and the cameras caught him saying, you owe me a favor, and I'm going to come to you when I need it. And I feel like it's exactly what we all think it is. If and when Roman eventually wins back the WWE Championship, Punk is first in line for a shot. And I am all for it. But why?
But why is that? That seems so obvious to me because
It does, right?
Because but why? Because we already know that Punk's headed towards a world title match, right?
Yeah. Well,
So-
supposedly.
Well, we don't know.
We actually
Why are we assuming?
We're assuming, but we're
Okay.
pretty confident in our assumption. They're not that sly.
No.
They like to maneuver us on the way, but I mean they know we know the angle.
I mean, Roman doesn't necessarily win the world title anytime soon.
also
the
they're
WWE
about to-
title.
Also, they're about to cook right now.
Yeah.
There as in who?
If you've seen me looking backwards this whole time, it's because I'm actually super intrigued right now.
Who is
So
on
Punk
Raw?
is out here right now, and
Yeah,
so is
who's-
Rollins.
Oh boy, here we go.
Great.
So
Well,
they're
don't tell
about
me because
to-
I'm trying to wait till after
Oh.
this is done. I'm trying to wait till after this is done to
I want to
watch.
see this promo.
I've got it loaded up on another monitor.
But
so.
yeah, so I don't think Roman's gonna win the title anytime soon. I think Roman may not even win the title at WrestleMania. I think that this would be if Punk wins the world title, which at this point I don't think he might not. And if he does, he might drop it to Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. He might put Seth over. But either way, I think Roman wins the title eventually, and I don't think it's within the next year. I don't think it's between now and WrestleMania. I think it's after WrestleMania 41. I think it's going to be, we're all going to forget about this even happening, and Roman's going to be the champ. We're all going to be happy, like Roman's got the belt again, let's go, and then Punk's out.
And then Punk.
And then we're like, oh shit, Survivor Series,
right? It's
the
like,
deal,
that's-
the favor, you know?
that's
Like,
We won't
probably
forget. We're not going to forget.
We're not gonna forget.
We're not gonna
The other
forget.
The other thing too is
We haven't forgotten about Rock's little thing with Cody.
that's
that
true.
was not long ago. Yeah, but to be fair, I don't
That
know.
was
The
6
thing
months,
is
8 months ago at this point.
I know. Yeah, it feels like not long ago, but it's also forever. ago.
We saw it for real. We were
did.
there.
You two did. But how do I word this? When that finished, I was driving home, and a buddy of mine and I was dropping off when we were in the car. We were talking about that, like, what could the favor be? We're like, well, it has to be a world title match against like Roman, probably, right? And I go, what if it's something bigger? But what the fuck could be bigger?
I'm saying
Because
there's
if
something else
Punk is
here.
asking for a favor from Paul Heyman, what the hell could be bigger than that?
Because Paul can't just make world title matches. Like Paul can't make world title matches. There's a lot of DNS Machina that has to happen for that to all line up just for Punk to get that favor. And Punk being the character that he is doesn't give me the sense that he's going to work in that many hypotheticals to get to where he needs to be.
I don't think that Roman would necessarily, if Paul said that he made a deal with Punk, and that like I don't think that Roman would be resistant to do something if Paul said he needed to do it.
Right.
Roman,
That's not even really
Paul
my
is Roman's
question.
wise man, and then at that point he'll say, "My tribal chief, I told Punk you would face him for the title because I know you can win. I know you got this, my tribal chief. That's why I did this." I don't know, man.
What is Seth Rollins
Here's another thing. There's a look that was shared between Jimmy Uso and Paul Heyman when Paul returned and announced CM Punk was coming. And actually, it might not have been then. No, it was then. The moment when Punk came out and it was Punk and Roman and Paul was on the outside of the ring, at one point, him and Jimmy shared a look and there was a nod. And people are saying that there could be something there. And I think that was Jimmy, Paul, and Punk all going behind Roman's back to make this happen, because Roman is so stubborn for taking extra help. Jimmy, who said if you recall, he was the when they did before the WarGames match, they had the NFL style college football introductions for each of the wrestlers, and Jimmy was like starting quarterback. Quarterbacks are the ones that make decisions.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks
that's true.
are the
He did
ones
call
that-
himself the quarterback.
Quarterbacks are the ones that make decisions. And what if Jimmy calls the shot of, listen, Roman's not willing to work with anybody. We got to just force this.
No.
And we trust you to do it, Paul. And Paul went to Punk and said, listen, Roman doesn't want it, but he needs it, right? And Punk's like, listen, I don't want to be on a team with someone that doesn't want me, but I'll do it for you on one condition. And that's the condition. I really don't see what else there could. I really don't see what else there could be.
I don't see what else there is either, but I feel like in this version of storytelling that we're a little bit more. There's something else here. There's something else at play. There's a bigger play.
There's a bigger play. But what?
I'm intrigued to know what, because I honestly don't know.
That's the thing. It's like, I feel like we all know what the obvious is, but they're not going to go the direction of the obvious. There's something bigger.
New stable?
I don't know. That's the thing, right? Like, I'm not sure.
Was Paul dressed not for Solo but for Punk with the red?
I think that was
You think it?
I think that was meant to throw us off. I think all of that was meant to throw us off. We knew, because we all thought we knew Rock was coming. We all thought we knew
Seth was gonna.
Seth was going to do something.
Yep.
None of that
But-
happened. I don't know where people got Brock from, but okay, we thought Brock was coming and no Brock.
I think the Paul thing, more or less.
Yeah, probably just Paul.
Once they announced Punk, I was like, all right, there's no need for Brock at this point.
No.
You know?
there was never a need for Brock.
There wasn't.
and that's the thing. There was never a need for Brock to begin with. Yeah. So
But I will say this. People were very upset that there was no end thing. And honestly, I kind of feel that because there was a very long celebration between the faces
right.
that lasted a very long time. And for me, it was like, okay, this has to be a Triple
Yeah.
H post-credit thing.
Right.
And then it just wasn't.
And then it
I'm
was just a wholesome way to end the show, and you're like, is that?
But I'm cool with that. And the reason why is like I said, we're always trying to say, oh, what if this person comes back? What if that person comes back? What if this person? Triple H is realizing, I think, that we're starting to expect, those post-credit pop-ups, right? So what he's going to do, he's going to draw it out, make us feel like there's going to be somebody and there won't be. Because then when the moment happens, when there is somebody, it's going to be that much
It's
better.
gonna be huge.
And I'm cool with that. I'm so cool with that because the story as is so good. It doesn't need surprises like that right now.
I wasn't mad at it, but I didn't. My initial reaction was lame. To be fair.
I did record a video for live for purposes solely of us in our group chat to send to be like, all right, here we go. It's the end of the match. Who's coming back? And then the show ended. I was like, huh.
Well,
That's it.
there's that moment where they're all in the cage, they're hugging and celebrating, and they cut to the camera angle. Oh boy! And they cut to the camera
Jesus
angle
Christ.
where it's all them hugging
both
and
of
like
us are
hugging,
very
and it
distracted.
shows the ramp in the horizon, and I'm like, where is he? Where is Dwayne? Come out, Dwayne! I know you're back there. And then nothing, and I'm like, oh okay. And then they're all leaving the ring, and there's the moment as they're leaving the ring, I'm like, maybe something's gonna happen there. No,
That's what I thought too. I kept looking at that and I was just like, huh? I was like, what are you doing? I was like, I see these camera angles that you're doing. Cute move.
Right,
I saw Roman look at the ramp, and I was like,
and I'm like,
I
there's
thought they were gonna
something
do
there.
that's
And
what got
then
me.
Yeah.
they're all going to the ramp, and then Punk immediately is gone. He goes to the back, but they're all in front of the ramp, just like hugging it out, like the bloodline's there, right? And I go, Punk's gonna run up behind Roman and attack Roman? No.
Nah,
Okay.
he didn't go to the back. He was just behind them all in a line. They were all in a line. But I thought they were going to do the thing like I said on the pod a few weeks back, where like the faces were going to have this long drawn out exit, and then it was going to cut to the ring, back to the ring where Solo's like, y'all fucked up.
Right.
What's the deal? Where were you guys? I just ate all those finishers for us, and you weren't even there to help me. And then The Rock comes out and does the whole thing of like, well, you can't get the job done, so I'm going to do it myself. But nope, you didn't do it.
Well,
so
there was something,
None of that.
That's fine.
That. There was something interesting that was brought up on Twitter sometime yesterday or Saturday night after the show, where regarding The Rock, and that is, The Rock came out once so far since we last saw him at Mania, and that was after the Cody Roman tag match. Right? That's the only time we've seen him so far. He didn't come out.
he came out the
with
Raw
Bloodline.
after Mania, and that's it. Right?
Well,
yeah.
but I mean, since then, that's the only time we've seen Dwayne.
Oh, right,
Is
right.
after the Cody Roman tag match. We didn't see him after the Bloodline stuff. We didn't see him after Roman and Jay versus Solo and Jacob. We didn't see him after this. We didn't see him after anything Bloodline related, which leads a lot of people to realizing, what if Dwayne's not actually after Roman? He's after Cody.
I was going to say that,
Yeah.
but then I realized that
You know?
that's not really the story.
I know.
I think it's a
right?
red herring. I think it's a red herring.
I think it's a red herring. But
I think Roman absolutely is the target. I think there's more you can do with Cody without The Rock than Roman without The Rock right now. Because honestly, I don't really care to see Roman against anybody except for Cody and Rock at this point. I still feel like Roman is
And
not
Solo.
and Solo, but we're getting
Solo.
that. But that's
We
not
gotta get
WrestleMania either, you know.
No.
And I feel like Roman's character development is we're still in the process of it. We're still in the process of finding out who Roman is post WrestleMania 40. I think, and I think the culmination of that will be finally getting a win over The Rock.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Get it being the tribal chief. Maybe the match doesn't even fuck it. Maybe the match doesn't finish.
Doesn't. Oh.
And Rock comes out and takes the Ulafala himself without a win and just puts the beads on. I don't know.
apologies to our listeners that may be
I
hearing
know,
awkward silence. This is getting interesting.
I'm so distracted
and I
right
are
now.
Currently watching Monday Night Raw as we're recording this, and this is getting interesting.
So you're getting a literal reaction right now of what's going on right now because this is interesting.
Where are you in the broadcast right now?
There's so much interesting going on, and there's actually a conversation that I actually want to have that involves this.
Yeah, same.
But but it actually goes more back to the match anyway. So
where in the broadcast are you right now? Out of curiosity, because we're not synced.
Seth's just about to talk.
Okay, so we're about a second off. Cool.
Yeah, am I just losing my mind?
Yeah.
That's all right. But there actually is a good point that comes out of this segment that's going on right now. Did anyone else notice Sammy and Punk noticeably not talking to each other?
Yeah, not at all.
Noticeably choosing who
not
they
to
back up
interact
and who
at
they.
all. Yep.
Yeah, did anybody notice that?
Yep. Oh no, I noticed.
Did I miss something?
It kind of sticks out
Is
a
there
little
some?
when you
Is there
start
some
to realize
indie
it.
things here that I don't know?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know if it's indie beef, but
because Sammy's the class right after Punk, right?
Yeah.
Like he's the Ring of Honor class that was like 07, 8, 9,
Yeah,
10,
the
right?
Jericho Steen class. Yeah.
And Tyler Black wasn't really around when CM Punk was around either, right?
Who?
He's that same class with Sammy and KO, right?
Yeah.
All right. Tyler Black being Seth Rollins.
Yes.
Okay. So
Not to be confused with this.
that
Tyler.
was interesting. So as CM Punk was walking into Raw tonight too, there was also this awkward moment where he was looking. Him and Jay are cool, like, but Jay's cool with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to handshake Sammy, and Sammy thinks about it. And even the handshake is really awkward. It's not a dap. It's like very business related. And now, of course, they're having this whole promo about Seth being mad at Sammy for teaming with Punk.
Yeah.
Oh,
While
Cool.
and also questioning
breaking
why,
news.
questioning why he's teaming with the Bloodline in relation and with Punk. So there's like a double reason for.
So Seth is going the KO route.
We're getting the KO route.
We're getting
with
the KO
Sammy,
route with Seth,
which is
yeah.
also interesting because I'm sure there's probably about to be a KO. Yep, and there's probably about to be a KO hit right here too. So all of this is getting super interesting and super messy, and I love it.
We'll see.
Well, it's interesting that KO and Seth have their own beef regarding this gigantic thing, and that KO's beef is, Cody, you're a traitor for working with the Bloodline, and Punk's thing is, or not Punk, sorry, but Rollins' thing is, you're a traitor for working with the Bloodline and with Seth and with CM Punk.
Very true.
Huh.
Very true. All right, fellas, let's wrap up. Let's wrap this up.
We need to wrap
we
this
need
up.
to
Wrap
watch
this
this.
up.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up.
We're gonna
Best
mess
in
it
wrestling,
anyway.
quickly.
Yeah, my best in wrestling is
from
Shinsuke winning the belt. It's also wait, what else was there? Fuck. There was something else. I don't remember. Oh, yeah, that's that. I think that's it. I think it's Shinsuke winning the belt for me.
The oh shit moment. Or the press conference where they asked for muffins and received
Love the muffins.
no muffins.
EO.
Nice.
That's it.
Well, y'all.
End of story.
Go
sorry
find
for
us on
the
TikTok and
sorry
on
for the
Instagram and Twitter and bye.
sorry for the abrupt
Bye.
ending. See y'all.